By his husband's side was a stunningly beautiful and exceptionally capable female director. From the company's founding to its IPO, she had been by his husband's side for every single one of his triumphant moments. Unlike me, who stays home all day taking care of the kids, helping with homework, washing pots and dishes. Even when my husband is in the spotlight, I only see it through TV and news reports. My best friend couldn't stand watching any longer and scolded me in frustration. How can you put up with this? That woman's already acting like she owns the place in front of reporters. It's been 10 years, even if you're love-struck, it's time to wake up. Hearing her angry words, I remained calm, lightly tracing the rim of my wine glass. It's been 10 years already. I can't believe how time has flown. But the outcome was worth it. That pair of scoundrels finally took my company public. Given that, it's time to remove her husband from his position as chairman at this shareholders' meeting. And that woman of hers, the one about to be promoted from director to executive general manager. Just before the shareholders' meeting was about to begin, Austin finally returned home. The moment she heard the door open, his daughter dashed toward him like an excited little rabbit. She happily clung to Austin's leg, calling out "Daddy, Daddy" over and over. Austin picked up his daughter and planted a kiss on her cheek. "I missed you so much, my little angel." Then he tickled her several times with his stubble, making her burst into laughter before setting her back down. Only then did he walk over to me with a gentle expression. "You've worked hard, Betty." His words were always like that, polite, gentle, and clear, the very picture of a good husband at home. But if I hadn't known how inflated he'd become in the month after ringing the bell at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, losing $10 million in Macau, spending $50 million to buy his female director a boutique downtown villa in the prime district of the city. He purchased luxury villas and high-end vehicles for the female director's family, parents, and younger brother. Had he not squandered my money so recklessly, I would not have considered hiring a professional manager to replace him. After all, he and his female director are incredibly effective. Both are elite professionals, driven, ambitious, and fiercely career-oriented. Unlike me, who's been unable to endure hardship since birth. The toughest thing I've ever endured was Austin's infidelity. I was heartbroken for a full 3 days. But 3 days later, I'd already written Austin off as a jerk. After all, his company held the 48% stake I'd anonymously acquired, plus the 3% he'd given me when we married. That was a hefty sum. Love was gone, but the money remained, not the worst outcome. Just as I was deep in recollection, Austin suddenly furrowed his brow. "Are you still jealous of Rose? Betty, you can't have it both ways. I've given you a life of luxury and leisure, you can't expect me to remain absolutely faithful to you on top of that." He's always been this brazen. Even 5 years ago, when I went to his office to deliver mooncakes I'd baked myself and caught him and that female director of his kissing passionately in his office, he was just as unapologetic. After the female director Rose left the office, he calmly poured me a cup of tea. "Betty, you and I did start as a campus romance. 4 years of dating, 5 years of marriage. I truly loved you back then, and I still love you very much now. But you have to understand, I'm a man with physical needs. I'm on business trips half the year. You can't expect me to hold back like those men who can't get laid. I've got money, I've got needs, and Rose likes me and is super capable. Since I'm using her skills, I might as well use her body too. What's the big deal? You're just too greedy. Greedy enough to want me to give you a life of luxury, yet greedy that my body can only belong to you alone. Greedy enough to expect me to love you to death like I did in my youth. We're adults now, don't be such a perfectionist." That was the first time I heard Austin dissect human nature, specifically the wicked nature of men. The immense shock left me fainting on my way home from his office. After being rushed to the hospital, I discovered I was pregnant. This child was hard won. It took me 3 years of IVF to conceive. I couldn't bear to terminate the pregnancy, but during my 10 months of pregnancy, Austin played the perfect husband at home while secretly accompanying his female boss on trips to Hong Kong for Disneyland and the Maldives for sunbathing. After that, I finally understood. Since everything boils down to self-interest, I'll just maximize Austin's gains. Suppressing the faint sting of pain that instinctively surfaced in my heart, I merely smiled gently, walked over, and undid Austin's tie. Look at you talking like that, she's your own sister looking out for you. Why would I ever be jealous of Rose? She graduated from a top American university, handles partnerships for you externally, and manages the company internally. I can't thank her enough for taking such good care of you. How could I possibly be jealous? Austin's face instantly softened into a gentle smile at my words. He reached out and pinched my earlobe, his favorite thing to do when we were together. But ever since I discovered he also enjoyed pinching Rose's earlobes, every time he did that to me, it made me feel especially sick. Perhaps even Austin himself has forgotten. Ever since I caught him cheating with Rose 5 years ago, I haven't let him touch me again. Just like now, I shyly took a couple of steps back. Alright, the kid's still here. Hurry up and get in the shower. With that, I called over my daughter. Ivy, your dad's being lazy and doesn't want to bathe. Go push your dad into the bathroom right now. After he finished speaking, Austin's leg was once again adorned with his daughter's charm. As soon as he stepped into the bathroom, I went to the kitchen to wash my hands and face with disgust, paying special attention to my earlobes, scrubbing them thoroughly 3 times over. Only then did I pull out my phone and call Austin's secretary. Get something done immediately, make Austin get out of my house. The moment I hung up, Austin's secretary called him over. After taking the call, Austin's face instantly darkened. He undid his bathrobe right in front of me and ordered, Betty, get me a suit. I need to head to the office now. I quickly opened the wardrobe and fetched the suit for him. The moment Austin saw the suit, his brow immediately furrowed. What happened to your taste? What kind of style is this? Are you sending me back to the office to work overtime, or just to embarrass myself? Austin's always been like this. Whenever he's in a bad mood, he talks to me with such biting sarcasm. Knowing his temperament, I didn't argue with him. After all, I just wanted him out of my house. So I stammered, I'm sorry. I'll change it for you right now. But Austin didn't calm down one bit at my words. He pushed me away in irritation, grabbed his phone, and pressed the one emergency contact button. Moments later, Rose's gentle voice came through the phone. What's wrong, Austin? Is something the matter? Austin shot me a disgusted look before coldly ordering, get me a suit right now. There's been a problem with the Transcendence project. He hung up first. Then, as if reprimanding an employee, he snapped at me, can't you keep up with the times? What exactly are you doing sitting around at home all day? I don't expect you to achieve great things, but couldn't you learn a little from Rose and improve your taste just a bit? With that, he didn't look back at me once, slipped on his bathrobe, and headed to the study. Watching his retreating figure, my fingers curled into a tight knot around the suit jacket. This suit, of course, is an outdated style. After all, it was left behind by Austin 5 years ago. All these years, his clothes, watches, even his underwear have been personally managed by his female director. It has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Even when I occasionally put on a show and prepared a gift for him on our anniversary, he never opened any of them. They all ended up piled in a drawer in his study, gathering dust. After all, for the past 5 years, every anniversary and birthday gift I've given him has been uniquely special. There's a dildo-wielding mannequin. There's a fertility charm. There's a doll covered in tiny needles. And there's a wish-granting charm depicting him and his female supervisor in compromising positions. Every year, I look forward to seeing Austin's reaction when he discovers these things. But sadly, Austin hasn't found any of them in 5 years. Just as I touched the divine, my daughter's furious voice echoed from outside. Who are you? Why did you come into my house without ringing the doorbell? My brows instantly furrowed. I tossed aside my suit and stepped out the door. Seeing Rose crouching down, she said she was about to become Ivy's big sister. My expression instantly turned cold. How did you get in? Seeing me appear, Rose merely raised an eyebrow calmly. Hi, sis. Sorry to bother you so late. Austin gave me the password to get in. My palm tightened slightly. That piece of trash Austin actually gave this bitch my house code. I couldn't be bothered with her. I walked over calmly and said to Ivy, who was still staring blankly, clearly not understanding Rose's words. Ivy, Mommy's going to carry you back to your room. It's time for your English class, your foreign teacher is already waiting. With that, I picked Ivy right up. Just as I turned to leave, Rose clutched her pregnant belly and said to me, "Sis, the baby needs rest at night. What's the point of studying English? It's a girl anyway, just give her a dowry and marry her off. Why push her so hard? If you ask me, it won't matter if you send her to English classes or horseback riding lessons. After all, the family business still needs a son to carry on." I gripped my daughter's fingers a little tighter. Rose's provocations toward me were always blatant. Ever since I caught her cheating with Austin 5 years ago, she's been taunting me whenever she gets the chance. She sends me videos of her and Austin being intimate, and she's even sent me footage of them in bed with little leather whips. Even in business dealings, Austin shared videos introducing her as his wife. Beyond that, he even sent me videos of him comforting her during her pregnancy journey, reassuring her she was carrying his son. In the video, Austin stands in the hospital corridor, holding her tightly as she prepares for IVF. "Rest assured, give me a son. Though I cannot offer you marriage, I can give you a company for our son. With our combined genes, I'm certain we'll have a perfect child. When the time comes, I'll personally guide him with patience." Rose was completely buried in Austin's embrace. "And what about your Ivy?" Austin's lips immediately twisted into a sneer. "Ivy, a girl, just send her off with a dowry. How exceptional could a child be when Betty had to take 3 years of medication to conceive her? And a child raised by someone with Betty's intellect? Not much use." It was Austin's words back then that severed what little affection I still had for him. Recalling that bone-chilling scene, I covered Ivy's ears and turned to Rose. A lowly mistress who can't even show her face in public, and an illegitimate child not even out of the womb yet, and they dare to flex their muscles in front of me? The bastard in your belly might not even make it to birth, yet you dare dream of inheriting the family fortune? But I never expected that the moment I finished speaking, Rose suddenly burst into tears. "Sister, how could you do this? I only said Ivy is too young to learn English, I was just worried about her and tried to advise you. Instead of appreciating my kindness, you cursed my child as a bastard. How could you be so cruel?" I furrowed my brow slightly. Before I could react, Austin's exasperated voice came from behind me. "Betty, are you out of your mind? You can't go a day without stirring up trouble, can you? If you're really that bored, go sign up for some yoga classes and flower arranging classes tomorrow." My grip on Ivy's hand tightened again. If I hadn't clenched my jaw so hard, I wouldn't have been able to stop myself from walking over and slapping that man. I took several deep breaths to hold back, then carried Ivy back to the room. The door had barely closed when I called Austin's secretary. "Notify Austin to move the shareholders meeting up to tomorrow. Also, draft Austin's dismissal notice as chairman tomorrow, along with Rose's termination notice. I've had enough of this bullshit." The secretary immediately agreed. Just then, Austin's phone rang outside. Soon after, his increasingly irritated voice came through. "That shareholder from Shui Company is such a pain. First he causes trouble by threatening to cancel the Shuiwa project, and now he wants to move the shareholders meeting up to tomorrow. This is driving me absolutely crazy. I should never have sold her so many shares during this series of funding round. All these years, she's been so obedient and never caused any trouble, so I didn't dilute her stake. But now that the company's just gone public, she's constantly pulling underhanded tricks." No sooner had Austin finished speaking than Rose's voice rang out. "Austin, don't worry. I'll definitely help you. Sooner or later, I'll get Shoyi's shares back for you. I'm nothing like your wife, who spends all day causing you trouble and arguing with you." Hearing Rose's words, Austin was instantly amused. Even as he closed the door and stepped outside, he couldn't resist commenting, With a wife like this, what more could a couple ask for? Standing just a wall away, I couldn't help but let a sneer escape my lips. So in Austin's heart, Rose was his wife? Fine, if that's the case, I'll send this pair of bastards straight to hell. After that, I crouched down and said to Ivy, Ivy, I'll have the driver take you to your grandmother's place for a while. This place just got defiled by that fox spirit. Once I've cleaned it up, I'll come pick you up. Ivy stared with wide, dazed eyes. I knew she was filled with questions, yet she nodded in the end. Seeing her innocent face, a sharp pang of pain shot through my chest. It was all because of those two bastards that my Ivy had to witness such filth. But within moments, I suppressed my unease and began packing Ivy's things. Yet before I could even escort Ivy out the door with all the bags I was carrying, Austin returned home with Rose in tow. Seeing me carrying things, Austin immediately furrowed his brow. Where are you going? I fought the urge to roll my eyes. Ivy misses her grandmother. I'm taking Ivy to stay with her for a few days. Austin was unusually impatient today. We'll go tomorrow. Go make 2 cups of coffee first. Rose and I have to pull an all-nighter to handle some work stuff. No sooner had Austin finished speaking than Rose chimed in, I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you, sister. I won't be having coffee, just tea, and specifically Biluacan brewed at 60 degrees Celsius. After all, Austin and I need to stay up all night discussing tomorrow's shareholder meeting. I hadn't intended to pay them any mind, but when I overheard them discussing how to get rid of me right in front of me, I suddenly felt it wouldn't hurt to listen in. I quickly brought Ivy back to her room, closed the door, and let her play by herself inside. After that, I hurried to the kitchen to brew tea and make coffee. Austin and Rose showed no intention of keeping me out of the loop. Not only did I clearly hear how they planned to deal with me, but I also learned about the schemes they intended to pull at tomorrow's shareholders meeting. It's pretty frustrating, after all, I've been waiting 10 years, and I never imagined they'd be so incompetent. Fortunately, while I was leisurely brewing tea, they'd already worked out a rough plan. Meanwhile, Rose had shifted from sitting across from Austin on the couch to sitting beside him, her leg even draped over his. Austin not only failed to stop, but with one hand holding documents, he leisurely rubbed Rose's thigh clad in black stockings with the other. The scene before me was utterly revolting. Yet I still placed the coffee and tea in front of them. Your coffee and tea are ready. If there's nothing else, I'll head back to my room. With that, I turned to leave. But the next moment, Rose suddenly called out to me. She reached out and tossed me a proxy voting notice. Sign this document. Looking at this document, I paused for a moment. It wasn't that I didn't want to sign it, after all, I'd been doing this for the past decade. What surprised me was that beneath the proxy agreement for my 3% equity stake lay another document, the transfer agreement granting Rose 5% equity from Austin. It was downright ridiculous. Just as I frowned in thought, Rose shot me a sarcastic look. What are you staring at? Do you even understand these documents? Enough of this. Stop deliberately annoying Austin. Just sign this document already. After that, Rose acted like a boss dealing with an employee, flinging a pen at the paper. My palms tightened slightly, the urge to slap her still there. But I held back, crouched down, and signed my name on the paper. Just as I turned to leave, Rose suddenly shoved the teacup I'd placed before her. Ouch, that's hot. No sooner had the words left her mouth than she slapped me hard across the face. Betty, how could you be so cruel? I know you're jealous of me carrying Austin's child, but no matter what, you shouldn't have scalded me with that teacup. Rose's voice grew even sharper as she spoke. And these documents, do you have any idea how long Austin and I spent preparing them? The stinging pain in my slapped cheek flared, and rage surged up inside me. After all, I hadn't even raised a hand to slap this shameless bitch, yet she dared to strike me. I was completely stunned, but the next moment, Austin, sitting beside Rose, leapt to his feet in fury. He glanced briefly at the documents on the table, then swung his hand back and delivered a hard slap across my face. Useless piece of trash, you idiot. Can't even pour a cup of tea right. Then he shoved me hard. The force sent me crashing to the ground, and even my tailbone throbbed with sharp pain. As I trembled, trying to get up, my daughter's pitiful voice came from behind me. "Daddy. Daddy. Why did you hit Mommy?" I turned my head in horror. Especially when I saw my daughter standing in the hallway, her face streaked with tears. My breaking point had been completely shattered. I couldn't even feel the pain in my own body anymore. I leaped up in rage, spun around, grabbed Austin's golf club, and swung it hard at the base of his tailbone. "You shameless piece of trash. I gave you face, didn't I? Served you like a nanny, and now you dare to abuse me?" After saying that, I landed several more blows on Austin with the stick. Then I lunged forward, yanked Rose's hair, and smacked her twice across the face. "Rose, those slaps are payback. If you weren't pregnant, I'd have beaten you to death today." Just as I was about to slap Rose a third time, Austin grabbed my wrist with all his strength. He glared at me, teeth clenched. "Stop it. Are you out of your mind?" I swung my hand back and slapped Austin across the face. "I'm not crazy. I just want to beat the crap out of you." With that, I shook off his hand and rushed toward my daughter. I scooped her up and dashed back to her room, slamming the door shut behind me. The moment the door closed, I called the property management. True to its reputation as a villa costing 25 yuan per square meter, the property management arrived extremely quickly. Even though I tipped them off in advance, as long as they pulled off a prank that satisfied me, I was willing to give the property management staff a 10,000 yuan red envelope each. Money talks, so Austin and Rose were practically dragged out like dogs by the property management staff. Even though I had given them advance notice, the property management crew still dragged the two of them on a tour of the luxurious villa complex. Watching Austin and Rose on the surveillance footage, looking so frustrated they dared not make a sound or cause a scene, finally helped ease the anger in my chest a little. But I didn't even have half a second to feel excited. I was just gently thinking about how to explain it to Ivy. But before I could even open my mouth, Ivy solemnly said, "Mom, my teacher said there's only one time and countless times when it's domestic violence. What you did was right." After that, Ivy wrapped her arms around my neck. "Mom, go ahead and cry. Ivy will always protect you." I didn't cry when Rose slapped me. I didn't cry when Austin hit me. But now, I was crying. So what good deed did I do in my past life to deserve an angel like Ivy choosing to come into my life? But I didn't cry for long. I picked up my luggage again and took Ivy to her grandmother's house. After spending one more night with Ivy at my mother's place, I finally made it to the office. As soon as I reached the company entrance, the receptionist stopped me. "Sorry, Betty, Rose specifically said you're not allowed upstairs." "Humph, what kind of people you hire reflects what kind of people you get." I couldn't be bothered with the receptionist's nonsense, so I just called Austin's secretary and got her to come down. He then pointed at the receptionist and ordered, "Fire him." Her face turned pale instantly. I remained indifferent, letting Ken usher me into the president's private elevator. As soon as I reached the door of the shareholders' meeting room, the Austin executives I had previously appointed bowed respectfully toward me. "Betty, good." I gave only a slight nod and murmured a soft "hmm." Then, I proceeded to take my seat at the head of the conference table. Ken, who always knew my habits, promptly brewed me a cup of herbal tea. The temperature was just right, exactly 45 degrees Celsius. I furrowed my brow slightly. Ken immediately asked anxiously, "Betty, is there something wrong with the tea?" I calmly said, "Change the tea to 65 degrees. After all, I'd glanced at the monitor. Austin had just taken Rose upstairs. By the time they reached the conference room, the tea would be exactly 60 degrees. That temperature was perfect for splashing a shameless bitch in the face. Sure enough, the door creaked open just a few minutes later. Austin still bore the bruises from where I'd hit him last night, and even his gait was slightly off. Rose wasn't much better, her face still showed several purple finger marks. Seeing me sitting in the conference room's main seat, Austin immediately flew into a rage. Betty, what the hell are you doing here? Get the hell out of this meeting room. Is this some place for you to be jealous? Jealous? My ass. Austin's got some nerve. I merely smiled, lifting the corners of my mouth, and beckoned him with a wave of my hand. Come here, I said. Let me tell you why I'm here. Austin's anger flared even brighter at my provocation. He strode over, ready to grab me. The moment he drew near, I suddenly flung the teacup right into Austin's face. You've got a foul mouth. Here's some premium health tea to wash it out. Austin was completely stunned by the drenching, taking ages to recover. Meanwhile, I waved directly at Ken. Ken immediately pulled out a share certificate and a shareholder resolution dismissing Austin as chairman and Rose as director, reading it aloud. Austin's face instantly contorted with disbelief. On what grounds? I'm the chairman, how dare you fire me? Seeing Austin's furious expression, I rose with a sneer. Austin, you've got to be kidding me. You still don't believe me? I know you're the chairman, but I'm the largest shareholder. Shoei Technology is my company. You wouldn't be so foolish as to think I'd sell my ancestral home for 20 million yuan just to invest in you and then wash my hands of everything. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I don't just have one ancestral home. I have many. So I sold another set of shares. When you were raising your series of funding, I invested in your round. You're really smart, you actually managed to trace all those small shareholders I arranged back to Shoei Technology. But how could you be so stupid? You didn't even realize that company was mine. I've been so blatant about it, using my own name and my daughter's, yet you never noticed. You even discussed how to deal with me right in front of Rose. Oh, but then again, I suppose that makes sense, after all, in your eyes, both my daughter and I are nothing but good-for-nothing fools. By this point, Austin's face was beyond pale. His entire body was trembling, and Rose was equally horrified. How could they not be? After all, in their eyes, I'd always been nothing more than a useless housewife. Though I'd love to savor their expressions a little longer, my time is precious, my daughter's kindergarten is about to dismiss. Calmly, I pulled a thick stack of documents from my handbag. Ken, call the police. This is evidence of Austin and Rose embezzling company assets over the years. The moment Austin saw the evidence, he lost his temper instantly. He lunged forward and grabbed my hand tightly. Betty, listen to me. For the sake of our marriage, please let me off. I'll return to our family. I promise I won't cheat again. As for Rose, I'll end things with her immediately. I'll make sure she gets an abortion right away. I'm begging you, please don't call the police. And even if you won't do this for me, do it for our daughter. You can't let her grow up with a father in prison. Hearing Austin's words, I was so infuriated I burst out laughing. With disgust, I pried his fingers off my wrist one by one. Austin, do you really think I could stay by your side without ever showing any signs of trouble, without ever thinking about my daughter? Rest assured, our daughter's household registration was never registered under either of our names. Legally, he has absolutely no connection to you whatsoever. Austin's eyes widened in terror, his darting gaze filled with utter disbelief. Perhaps even he hadn't imagined that I'd been planning all this for so long. I couldn't be bothered to engage with him, simply waving to Ken. Immediately, several security guards who'd been waiting in the wings rushed in and pinned Austin down hard on the desk. I had intended to just walk away, but as I was leaving, I couldn't stand seeing Rose standing there trembling all over. So I turned back. I reached out and patted Rose on the belly. You bastard, if I were you, I'd have aborted myself in your mother's womb. At least then you wouldn't have been born in prison. After that, I couldn't be bothered to engage with either of them and turned to walk out of the office. After that, I carried on like an ordinary housewife, calmly picking up my daughter from kindergarten, calmly cooking dinner at my mother's house. At the dinner table, my father voiced his displeasure. With a scumbag like Austin, you should have just thrown him in jail. That was far too lenient. I served my daughter a piece of cucumber she dislikes. At least she earned me $1 billion, if not for merit, then for the effort. Though my dad remained dissatisfied, he ultimately said nothing out of sheer indulgence. But unexpectedly, Austin was released on bail that very night. He really is capable, he's got some skills. He saw me walking with our daughter. His face lit up with excitement as he rushed toward her. "Ivy, please ask your mom to let Daddy off the hook, okay? You definitely don't want to be a dadless kid, right? Don't worry, if you just ask Mom to let Dad off the hook, he'll take you to the amusement park every week from now on." My daughter was startled by Austin suddenly popping up behind me and scrambled to hide behind me. Austin's sudden movement made me instantly frown. My father was right, just sending Austin to prison would be too lenient. As I hesitated between calling property management or the police, Austin dropped to his knees before me. "Betty, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. These past few years, after succeeding in my business, I was blinded by greed. That's why I became so reckless. I love you, I truly do. Please, I'm begging you, forgive me. I swear to heaven, from now on, Austin, you'll be the only woman in my life. I won't cheat again, and I won't touch any other woman." I calmly looked down at him, then pointed to the nearby trash station and said, "Austin, would you ever pick up something you threw in the trash and use it again?" Austin stared at me in surprise. "What do you mean?" I sneered. "What do you mean?" I said you're trash. I don't do recycling, I only do disposal. Without waiting for Austin to recover, I scooped up Ivy and hurried toward the apartment complex. No sooner had I gotten home than I called Ken. "What happened to Austin? How did he get out?" Ken's voice sounded scared. "Austin hired a high-priced lawyer to get him out on bail." I sneered. "After gathering all that evidence of his crimes, you still couldn't keep him locked up in prison. What exactly were you doing for those first 5 years?" Ken was utterly horrified by what I said. "I'm sorry, Betty. I'll take care of it right now." That night, Austin had been out for only 2 hours when he was arrested again. This made me feel a little better. But I never expected that the very next day, just as I was getting ready to head to school with Ivy, an elderly couple knelt before me. "Betty, I'm begging you, please spare Austin. He was just deceived by Rose." She clouded his judgment. I looked at the two old people with scorn. "He was fooled by Rose, so were you two also fooled by Rose? You don't think I could send Austin to jail, do you? I'm not unaware that you two knew Rose was pregnant all along." "Oh, right, Rose is only 3 months pregnant, yet you two seniors couldn't wait to book her a luxury postpartum care center. Your retirement pensions must be quite generous. In that case, you probably won't need the apartment I provided for you anymore. Alright, I understand your request. I'll arrange for someone to take possession of the property this afternoon." Upon hearing my words, Austin's parents immediately trembled. "Betty, how could you be so cruel? Must you drive us to the brink?" I turned my head with a sneer. "Malicious? How exactly am I malicious? Without me, you two old folks wouldn't even have Social Security. Don't forget your retirement pensions were only possible because I paid into the system years ago. Stop acting like this. Watch out, I'll demand every penny back." After that, I calmly led Ivy to the driver's car. Bunch of trash, I'd given them face before, which is why they got so cocky. With the lawyer's push, Austin's verdict came down in a month. Economic crimes, 3 years. 3 years behind bars to commemorate my decade of grinding my teeth and biting my tongue, it all evens out. On the day Austin was sentenced, I went to watch. Seeing me seated below the bench, Austin broke down in tears again, and the judge repeatedly had to intervene to prevent Austin from completely losing it. But Austin just couldn't help himself, he kept apologizing to me. Crying that he was wrong. Crying and begging me to forgive him. He couldn't possibly think a few tears would soften my heart, could he? All I thought was how ugly he looked. Men really do lose their charm as they age. Good thing I dumped him first. Rose, however, avoided jail time due to her pregnancy. But I didn't let her off the hook. I personally leaked the story about her having written her university thesis abroad. As a result, all her graduate degrees were revoked. Upon hearing the news, I rushed straight to see Rose. It was heartbreaking. After I forcibly reclaimed the property Austin had given her, she ended up living in a basement. Not only were the conditions terrible, but she was also heavily pregnant. Seeing me appear, Rose glared at me through gritted teeth. "It's not enough that you ruined me like this." I gave a sarcastic chuckle. "I'm here to deliver your abortion notice. I've already paid for your private hospital appointment. In 2 weeks it'll be too late to terminate the pregnancy. Whether I hit you or not is your call." With that, I stood up and started to leave. Seeing my retreating figure, Rose glared at me through gritted teeth. "Betty, what the hell are you trying to do?" I turned back with a dismissive glance. "Nothing much. Just don't want our Ivy to have some bastard little brother." After saying that, I didn't speak to Rose again and turned to walk out. But thankfully, the outcome was favorable. Rose went to the hospital a week later. And just as I'd predicted, she suffered severe bleeding and had her uterus removed. When she lay pale-faced in the hospital bed, I went to see her once, but didn't enter the room. Seeing her in such a pitiful state, I could only sneer. She was destined to be the third wife anyway. I'd merely done a good deed by helping sterilize her rival before her time. After that, I became just another ordinary housewife again. Washing dishes, cooking meals, picking up the kids from school. I even moved back to my mom's old neighborhood. I sold off that wedding house in Austin too. It was pointless, filthy as hell. I haven't divorced Austin. There's no need. I'm keeping him around just in case Ivy ever decides she wants to see her dad again. After all, a father figure, even if it doesn't amount to much, can still be there for Ivy if she needs it. It's okay for her to see him occasionally.